Hello Year 9, I hope you're all keeping well. Hopefully you've had a go at some 3D modelling last week. This week is about getting you to use more CAD because it's a massive part of our subject. It is hopefully something that I know most of you can do at home. I do understand if it's something that you can't do at home, but do remember that Onshape is a free app and you can use it on your phones, not just relying on a computer. So if you don't have a computer but you do have a phone, then hopefully, if it's a smartphone, you can go to Apple or Android and you can basically just download the app for Onshape and you can do it on your phone, and that would be great. Okay, so if you haven't done that already, please do. Next week you will be set an assessment by me and all your other teachers, which is to assess what you've learned over the last 3 weeks since the last assessment. Okay, and it's really important we know people have been looking at our PowerPoints, our lessons, so that we can plan for September who's going to need extra help if need be. I know most of you have been working really hard, so thank you for that. Okay, so your learning objective for this session is to be able to generate a virtual model that is realistic and functional, and obviously that's going to be using CAD. You're going to be learning more about CAD during this lesson as well, so it's not just knowing and being able to use Onshape. For the exam, you will be asked, where is CAD used and why, and are there any advantages and disadvantages? Okay, so all of you, so grades 2, 3, 4, will hopefully be able to create one basic light idea using CAD. Most of you will hopefully be able to use CAD to create at least one light idea that has some interesting features. So it's about using other key features of Onshape, where you can taper edges. There's all kinds of things that you can do that you could add to your light idea. And obviously the more light ideas you explore, you can do the whole control and print screen, and it will allow you to save that, and then you can make adjustments. It does show that you can create lots of iterations that way. Some of you will hopefully be able to use CAD to create a realistic light idea or model that has a wide range of features that help to make it functional. So you could explore the shade at the same time as creating the actual lamp. And again, you might do more than one model. So before you start using Onshape to create your lamp or light idea, we need to look at what CAD is in general and why it's used, because this is something that's going to come up in your tests and your exams next year. So there's a video here that is really nice and clear and user friendly. BBC Bite Size for DT is brilliant, so if ever you need to use it, it's got practice questions, it's got really nice diagrams, little video clips. I really recommend it. It's pretty good for your other subjects as well. So CAD stands for Computer Aided Design. It's basically designing with computers instead of designing on paper with a pencil. Onshape and 2D Designer are examples of CAD that you have already used this year, okay, mainly linking with your speaker project. New products can be designed in 3D on CAD, using CAD, and then you can also look at what is the potential material that would suit it. So you could try a light design that looks like it's made of wood, or you could then change it to make it look like it's made of plastic or metal, and it's a wonderful way of seeing what an idea is going to really look like before you then have to try and make it. So you're sort of saving time and possibly materials from being wasted. So you can explore with decoration, you can explore other possible ideas and then send it to your clients using email. So it's a very, very quick way rather than waiting for, a design on paper to be posted to someone. It's quick and it's instant. Okay, and as I've said, CAM stands for the machine. So a laser cutter is a good example of a computer aided manufacture machine. We've also got the 3D printer, and in textiles there's a computerized embroidery machine. All of those are CAM, computer aided manufacture. They link up with a laptop or a computer that gives them the design, and then the machine will cut it out. So here are some examples of where computer aided design is used. So it can be used to draw or model or simulate ideas. In this photograph you can see a boat that's been designed. The simulations allow the clients and customers to really view how something will work, how a product or system will work. So this boat, you can see, you could click on it and you could look at enlarging it in more detail. You could rotate it so that you can see all the different angles. and there will be lots of information down the left hand side there about the dimensions, the material ideas, possibly the length of time it's going to take to make as well. So it's a really, really detailed way of showing all the thoughts that a designer can come up with. Okay, so yeah, CAD allows ideas to be viewed from different angles. You can see, if you were designing a light, the designer could show how the outer casing would function at the same time as how the electrics would function. And that's something that Onshape allows you to do at times. CAD files can be sent directly to CAM, I've mentioned this already, which will quickly cut out your model. They can also be emailed, shared on intranets, USB memory sticks, and via the cloud. And you do need to be careful. If you're onto something that's amazing, there will be people wanting to get, to hack into your designs and take them before they can be copyrighted. So it's really important that if you've come up with an amazing design, you password protect it. So here are some examples of where CAD is used in real life in industry. So fashion designers these days might do an initial sketch on paper, but most of the time they play and explore and experiment using CAD. So this in the middle, on the left hand side of the screen, you can see a sort of sleeveless shirt, and in the centre are the pattern pieces needed to make that shirt. So you've got the collar at the top and you've got the front and the back piece. Down the left hand side are all the extra bits. So what kind of fabric pattern you might try, different colours you might try, dimensions, so measurements, lots of extra things there that are needed to guide the designer's way of thinking. On the right hand side there you've got architecture. Okay, so there's a house or a building design, you can see it there. You've got a lay plan, you've got all the dimensions, you can see that the designer has used different material effects. So there are parts of that house that look like wood, there are parts that look like brick. It's all very useful. Other places where CAD is used, in the top left hand side there you can see phone design. So lots of components make up a phone. So this has been built up bit by bit, sections. Down the right hand side you've got various tools that can be used, and again you can view this. You could rotate that phone so you can see what it would look like underneath. You could zoom in and see it enlarged to see the finer detail of the speaker parts down the bottom. There's all kinds of really useful information that makes this easy to view and get your head around if you were a customer. Top right hand side there you can see, using a different piece of software, the start of a game console being designed there. Bottom left hand side is that boat again, and on the bottom right hand side you've got a dental nurse or a dental technician who's having to look at how to shape and structure someone's new tooth and how they would make that. So it really is a really useful way, not just for fun like the computer games, but actual engineering of the boats and dental care. So the NHS probably use this for other things as well. Really, really useful way of seeing what something is going to look like in 3D. And this is where you have used CAD. Okay, so we've got Onshape on the left. That's one of your Lego men that you kindly emailed me and shared. And on the right there, we've got just an angry bird that's been designed using 2D Designer. Okay, so this is where you have used CAD. Here is a typical exam question to get your head around and get prepared. What are the advantages and disadvantages of using CAD? Down the left hand side we can see there that ideas we know can be drawn quickly, you can delete parts, whereas if you rub something out you've then got to redraw it, but you can click and go back on yourself, and there's all kinds of ways to make this a quicker process. You can develop them quicker by saving each one, trying a different colour, different pattern, different size, shape, and again, like I say, saving each one or doing the control and print screen, and then you've got a whole range of saved ideas. The designs can be viewed from all angles, and real idea of what it's like to have a wooden version of something compared to a metal, compared to a brightly coloured product. Okay, all of this is very easily experimented with. You can also do some testing and get some consumer feedback really, really quickly by simply emailing it across to someone, to your client, asking for their feedback before you go ahead and make an expensive mistake if that's something that they're then not going to like. Down the right hand side there, the disadvantages of CAD are it is expensive to set up. You've got to have the software license. We're lucky with Onshape because it doesn't cost us, but there are other software apps that really do cost plenty. And of course, all the machinery that you connect it to is very expensive. A laser cutter is very expensive, along with 3D printer, embroidery machine, CNC cutter, and what have you. You do need to train your staff. That's what's meant by skilled workforce. Okay, so you need to train your staff because it is technical. There's a lot to it, as I'm sure a lot of you have found when trying to do Onshape. It takes time, but it's one of these things that once you've had that training, you've got it there, and it's a good skill to have. Constant changing. Think how many times phones change. Think how many new versions there of, for instance, an iPhone. Imagine that within CAD design. There's still so many competing software apps that are just trying to get better and better and better. So you've got to keep updating and maybe work with a new app. All right, so that's a disadvantage, obviously. So your task now is to create your own CAD of your chosen light, okay, if you haven't already. Open up Chrome, not Internet Explorer, then sign into your Onshape account. If you haven't been on it for ages, get it sorted, get a new password sent to you, use your own email address, remember. You can do this on your phone, as I've said, you know, it's free, the software is free, and you can get it via Android or, you know, Apple, the store, the Play Store. Go to create and then go to new document. Name the document, light design or whatever you want to call it, lamp. Click on the center of at the front of the blue box, which you can see here at the top, and that gives you the front view. Okay, you've got to have clicked on that first before you can then go to sketch. You then go to the sketch line in the top left hand corner there if you're planning on doing straight edges. You can also use the other symbols there which give you a curved edge. You then need to explore and play around with your ideas, try out the different functions to see if you want smooth edges. You can make things thicker. There's all kinds of things. And if you've completely forgotten how to use Onshape, then go to this video link in the bottom left hand corner here where you can look at Mr. Hill's first video of lockdown, where you can see how to, you know, use all the different functions. He explains it very, very clearly. You just pause the video as you go. And just to round off, to hopefully see what you've learned and remembered about CAD, what does CAD stand for? Write that out, please. What are 3 benefits of using CAD as a designer? So there's a table we've already covered. I'm not going to give you the answers. You can find those or hopefully remember them. What's a benefit of using CAD as the consumer? That's the customer. Name some CAD software and then give 1 disadvantage of using CAD. And again, we've looked at the table. Good luck, and email me any questions that you have. So remember, please, this is the last week of the lighting project, and then next week you will be doing an assessment and there will be some questions about CAD. So do make sure you attempt that as well. Thank you. Goodbye.